Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet, and I am live today with a good friend and with Nathan, Milkbar TV, who does fantastic work in tracking down everything related to Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and their crimes, for which he's also being sued by Andrew Tate in a frivolous lawsuit. Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing very, very well. Nathan Livingston. Do you say Livingstone? Say Livingstone, right?
Livingston.
Livingston. Well, it literally says stone there. So. All right, Livingston. It is then. I know some people were expecting David to also appear. Sorry, Mike Winger to also appear, but he has other things going on, so Mike Winger is not going to be here. Mike Winger is another name for David, just so you know, Nathan.
Is he pro Tate now? He's pro Tate. David,
no,
is he?
Oh yeah, he might be. He might be. So I mentioned this very briefly, and I'm going to highlight this at certain points during the live stream, and I also have a link to this in the description. Nathan, together with others, are facing serious. I mean, I don't know how to say this, because I think that it's very sure that the lawsuit will fail, but nevertheless, there are massive costs with such a lawsuit. So Andrew Tate is harassing and trying to frivolously sue Nathan and many others because they call him out and because they document that he is a sex trafficker and a rapist and all that. And no, I'm not going to put an alleged to any of these things. And he's trying to frivolously sue Nathan and many others, and they need help with it. So I'm going to keep the link to this fundraiser in the description. And if anybody wants to help out with this, do so.
So this, well, I'll just touch on it quickly, because this has been going on since May last year, when they initially filed it. It's been dragging out. And you're right, the lawsuit is absolutely absurd, but it's very real, and the legal bills that we have to pay to defend ourselves is very real. We had a hearing, and this was dismissed after 10 minutes in December last year. That's how quickly it was dismissed. And then since then, they've refiled, appealed, and so they're just continuing to drag it on. My belief is their intention is never to win this thing. It's just to try and make our lives hell. But I want to just say, because I've been covering the Tates for it was literally 3 years to the day after they were arrested on Sunday. And I remember when I first made my initial video on the Tates, and there was so few people who were continually covering what was going on back then. And you were one of the few, along with David Wood, who when I was searching around, I could see like, oh, these guys are doing good work. So you were doing it before me, and you have been far more outright with straight up, as you saying, not saying allegedly, just straight up calling Andrew Tate a rapist.
Right, he's a rapist.
But even making that go incredibly viral, trending, and yet he's not suing you; he's suing me.
I know it confuses me sometimes, and honestly, I feel a little bit angry about it. It's like it's pissing me off. Like he's suing you guys. He's suing all these people. He's suing accounts with like less than 1,000 followers, like with a few hundred followers. I have made like viral tweets which literally just say Andrew Tate is a rapist, millions of views.
You made that trend.
Likes.
You made that trend. Yeah. Just there was, I can't, like thousands of people jumping on that, just calling him a rapist for a couple of days.
And the worst thing he did was just what his lawyers did was just to include me in evidences. What the hell?
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
Not even part of it, because the lawsuit is that there's a conspiracy. So there's me and a bunch of other people that have conspired to defame Andrew Tate. including lawyers that are representing alleged victims in the UK, in America. Yes, so I, and you were one of the first people to have me on your stream after I did that first video. So how you're not part of this conspiracy, I don't know.
I really don't understand.
Controlled opposition is in the back of my mind always.
One thing that came to mind is I'm in America. I don't know. I'm not sure how many of the people who are being sued by these guys are in America. It is very, very difficult to sue somebody in America for speech or for claims or for this kind of stuff. It's very, very difficult for them to do. And I think if I'm not wrong, it is much more difficult and costly to defend yourself against such a lawsuit in the UK and related countries like Australia than it is in America, where in America it is the other side, the side that claims to be slandered or defamed, that has to basically prove that I am actually maliciously defaming them and all that, and that's just a very, very difficult thing to do for them.
Well, there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why they're suing us in Florida. And they've sued other people in Florida because Florida does have a lower threshold and has weaker anti-SLAPP laws that prevent these kinds of this kind of like weaponization of lawfare to try and silence critics and journalists and things like that. So there's a reason they picked Florida. No one in the lawsuit lives in Florida. Not even the Tates live in Florida. So just to add how absurd this is. So this is very real. We've got updates with hearing dates coming up. We're hoping that we'll have a hearing soon where we can finally have this thing thrown out for good. So we do have a target of $70,000. We're at a bit over 60,000 now. So if you can go there and donate, it really means everything.
Yeah. So it's in the description, the link for the fundraiser. So anybody who wants to support, do it. Like, you just reminded me of my of these things. And I just 3.8 million views, 206,000
oh my gosh,
206,000 likes.
Yeah.
This was the post.
Do you remember the background to that? The background to that was they were antagonizing and harassing a UK grooming gang victim.
Oh yeah, Samantha Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, so she deleted her post because she was calling them out. They threatened litigation, and they were then taunting her, saying, "Make us sandwich." This is a UK grooming gang victim, Yeah. They were. This is the kind of people they are, and yeah. So thanks to you and others, they then defended her and called them out for what we believe that they are.
Well, the funny thing is, Andrew Tate has repeatedly claimed that he has very, very, very good connections to the government and to other influential people in America who will help him out with the case. Let me just say he's not the only one who has good connections and who can get a little bit of an ear as to what kind of a person he is and what kind of stuff that he does. Andrew, there are also other people who also have similar connections to important people in America and who can say, "Hey, hear me out. Let me tell you what this guy actually did." Just saying, Andrew, you're not the only one with connections. So, but he did claim that he was being that this was lawfare and all that. He has some people convinced. I think more and more people have realized that he's significantly more shady, even among those who are not entirely sure about what he actually did. I think the blind support for him has dropped and fallen by now, and more people just don't want anything to do with him, or think, okay, the law should just be pursued, and I want to stay out of this. So that is a good thing to see. But we actually have, I want to read this tweet because I think it's very funny, but we actually have a statement from the White House today. We have two statements, actually, from Marco Rubio. One, in which he said that he has no interest or no knowledge of any interference in the extradition of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, and that it will just be left to the law and the relevant departments and agencies. So, and then we have directly the White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, who also responded as follows.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the
It's not my fault that the video is extremely quiet, by the way, everybody.
administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No, we've already answered that question.
It was a very, very clear no. The question
It's a
is,
hard no.
does the government have any? Let me see again.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No, we've already.
So, do Trump and the administration have any intentions of intervening in the extradition process of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate? And her response is very, very clear.
No.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
there was.
Beautiful.
Did you see that Axio article with Rubio, where behind the scenes there was reporting that he's even said that he believes that they're vile.
This here? I
Here you
think
go.
I
You
got
got
it.
it. Yeah.
Is this the one where it mentions vile? Vile. Yeah. This is one of the articles. There are several articles now about this. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are not planning to block the extradition to the UK of the Tate brothers, the notorious manosphere influencers accused of rape and human trafficking. I would, at this point, stop using the manosphere designator for Andrew and Tristan Tate. I think it kind of really softens the picture of what these guys actually do and groups them together with lots of other people who don't necessarily do this kind of stuff. But nevertheless, and these guys are rapists and human traffickers. So Andrew and Tristan Tate were part of the coalition of hyper-masculine social media voices advocating for Trump when he was re-elected in 2024. The brothers have reported connections to two of Trump's sons and have had support from the top Trump advisors. Officially and publicly, Trump and his administration have kept the Tates at arm's length because of their sordid reputations. The U.S. has an extradition treaty with the UK, and the administration intends to honor it in this case, a senior administration official told Axios.
You scroll down to behind the scenes, just down a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
Those who know Rubio's thinking say the secretary, a conservative Catholic who fought as a U.S. senator for stronger human trafficking laws and protections for victims, isn't inclined to help the Tates. Marco thinks these guys are scum.
Scum.
said one source. Man, I love this guy. I just love this guy. Whenever he speaks, whatever I hear about him, I just love this guy, and I want him to be the next candidate for president. Please.
I don't want to get political. Also, I'm Australian, but it is very absurd that you got this Marco JD Vance thing going on. Here you've got Marco behind the scenes calling them scum, and then JD Vance, I believe, still follows Andrew Tate at this point in time. I'll just put that out there. That's very interesting.
I think JD Vance is highly misled in many ways. So I definitely would support Marco Rubio over JD Vance in every single way, every single day. Furthermore, I want to read this here quickly. Sam says, Andrew Tate will likely go down as the dumbest criminal in history. He created hundreds of hours of videos explaining exactly how he committed his crimes, and even created online courses teaching others the process. He predicted on multiple occasions he would be arrested for his crimes to his millions of followers. He made videos daring the authorities to arrest him for his crimes. He got arrested for his crimes.
I mean, that's where the people who are getting sued, it's a mix of different people, but you've got accounts like Crayon Murders, who has done incredible work at actually providing the legal documents, the criminal charges, and just all the updates. I mean, he's the number one resource if you want to actually know what's going on with the ongoing criminal cases with the Tate brothers. But yeah, with me, I'm a filmmaker. So that's where it's like, I spent years just compiling these videos of Andrew Tate seemingly confessing to these crimes that he's been charged with. It's bizarre. I can't think of any other instance in history where there's been this amount of seeming evidence of a criminal self-snitching on themselves for hours and hours. This trail, years long, just hundreds of hours of them appearing to be confessing to their crimes. It's really fascinating. As a filmmaker, being able to edit that together, because there's something about, like with Crayon Murders, it's like being able to show those legal documents is really good to be able to objectively understand what's going on. But there's something about seeing these people, seeing Andrew Tate seemingly admit to all these crimes that's undeniable at that point in time. You can say, okay, well, this needs to go to trial, but at the same point, you're like, well, this is pretty compelling evidence right here.
Yeah. I just see one thing here. Just very quickly, Jim Burns Jr., AP and friends. What I will have to say to you will sound unimaginably judgmental, but no, I love you. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. I misread that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You were getting ready to go on the
yeah,
attack.
I was ready to attack, but yeah. Oh, wait a minute. You're in agreement. Okay, all right. Anything. Anyway, so here is a Newsweek article. But hang on a second. David Wood looks different. I don't know why. Oh, hi, IP. Thank you. David looks different today. Has a massive beard.
Handsomer.
Yeah, and suddenly speaks in the Martian accent.
That's right. Less psychopathic.
Yeah. By the way, just so you know, I always talk trash about Australia on almost every live stream, and how it's literally Mars, and all that. So I hope you're not bothered by that.
No, I'm sure you're accurate. I however much trash you're talking, us Aussies who are sane, I'm sure are talking even more trash about it, because we actually have to live here. So then things are insane.
That's good. But why do you guys live there, by the way? It's literally Mars.
Why do we live here?
Why would you live on an uninhabitable planet surface, basically?
The country itself is beautiful. It's the people who are running it. That's the
Oh, okay.
Is my issue. So maybe we got a difference in what I don't like the socialism takeover heavy censorship, but maybe you don't like spiders and beautiful beaches.
It's very scary to read about all the animals and insects that are down there. Like, everything is massively bigger. Natural farmer Guinness. I chanted for the Turkish apostate Jin to appear. It worked. That's very good. It's very good. Hey, David, what is David doing here, man? David is lurking in the super chats. Apologetics Roadshow. David, why are people watching this awful live stream instead of the way better live stream with Hatun and the Dizzle? That's a good question. It's probably because this one is actually the good one. Have you ever thought about that, David?
I'm jumping on theirs now to try and poach their audience.
Libel, off topic. I just watched your video about Al-Aqsa, the time Jews and Christians reclaim it. Islam is not an Abrahamic religion, and it has no place on holy ground. That is true. I'm planning on. I'm writing down lots of videos that I'm about to record. It's going to be among those videos as well. Yeah, the one about it not being an Abrahamic religion in the sense that Abrahamic religions are Abrahamic religions, which is a very recent term, but Islam shouldn't even be included at this point. Just so you know, Nathan, this is a very Islamophobic channel, so I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, but as a practicing Muslim. Do Choli Day made a super sticker. Thank you so much. Gokudo says Andrew Tate's lawyer strategy is probably that the court will get bored with all the evidence against him. There are suspicions that once the extradition is complete and the trial goes on in the UK, that they might face life in prison for all their charges.
Yeah, no, you go on.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
The rape charges alone, the sentence can carry life just for the rape. So that's not including the human trafficking, the assault, and now the recent added charges with the images, pornography images with children. So yes, so maximum sentence wise, that is on the table.
However, I find it unrealistic because there is a counterpoint to be made, which is that the UK is notoriously very soft when it comes to punishing Muslim rape gangs. And considering that Andrew Tate has now become a Muslim himself, he might just get away with a very, very, very minimal sentence. So, we'll see.
Can I ask you about that?
Yes.
Because that I see Michael Knowles from Daily Wire. I see even Elon Musk pushing this sentiment that look how you have the UK, who has been incredibly soft on Muslim rape gangs, and now they're suddenly concerned with prosecuting the Tate brothers, which even Andrew Tate and his team are pushing to attempt to trivialize what they're accused with. I'd like to get, just with you and your background and the area that you cover. What is your take on that?
I have conflicting thoughts about it because when it comes to Andrew Tate, I simply want to focus on the prosecution of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and their crimes and what they have done. I do think, and we know with certainty that the UK has been very careful when it comes to apprehending and appropriately punishing perpetrators of Muslim rape gangs, and they have also on many occasions been very careful to not, they have been very careful and have often not stopped the rape gangs, have not interfered with the rape gangs, with the grooming gangs, have been just absolutely horrible in that regard, for the reason that that they could face a backlash and be called Islamophobic or bigoted. I mean, it was a scandal on multiple times that they failed to take action or refused to take action against grooming gangs because they were afraid of being called bigoted and Islamophobic, which is really, really, really sick and messed up. And whoever is responsible for that the whole thing should be torn down at this point. That said, I think there is some difference here, and I find it difficult to articulate what the difference is. But if there is a high-profile case of a rape gang or a perpetrator specifically who has a very highly and reliably recorded amount of such severe crimes committed and charges for each, I think it would be significantly more difficult for the justice system to give them a light punishment and significantly easier to put them behind bars for a long time. I think one thing that is different with Andrew and Tristan Tate is that they are really, as the post that we just read said, incredibly stupid criminals, that they are absolutely retarded criminals, that they have for years publicly bragged about their crimes. I mean, let me know what you think about it, or correct me if I'm wrong, but as it seems, for years, Andrew Tate bragged about things publicly because he wasn't actually aware that these things are crimes.
Yeah, I think he was so dumb, he didn't realize that what he was seemingly confessing to, and even teaching courses on, was, I believe, human trafficking, the definition of human trafficking.
Yeah. So he human trafficked for years, and he bragged about it publicly. The evidence for every single act now is overwhelming. It's been piled up over and over and over and over again, and there's more and more coming. According to the Crown prosecution service, they have now identified even more additional victims, have even more witnesses, even more confessions, even more direct evidence. We have an abundance of circumstantial evidence, of direct evidence, and so on. So you usually don't have this amount of blatant, clear evidence against grooming gang perpetrators. You have all of it right in front of our eyes against them, and you know it.
Yeah.
I know it. We know
Yeah.
it. Those who have gone through it, we know it. The evidences of crime that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have committed are abundant. You can read through pages and pages and pages for hours to look into all the things that they have done. And sometimes I feel like the prosecutors haven't even covered everything that we know. So it is a very different case. It's easy to say, wait a minute, they're being so lackluster prosecuting, grooming gangs, but they're so fired up to now put Andrew Tate behind bars. It doesn't seem consistent. But when you look at the evidence, I think the situation is a little bit different. And even if they didn't want to prosecute rapists and sex traffickers, it is very difficult for them to not do that in the case of Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I always like to point out that women have been going to the police in the UK since 2014. They've been making complaints. And this was investigated, and it was even then passed on to the Crown Prosecution Service. The same Crown Prosecution Service that completely dropped the ball on the grooming gangs also, I believe, dropped the ball on the Tates. And that allowed them to flee to Romania. So, this is where people are saying, oh, well, now they're serious. I think we can all agree that the UK has done a terrible job with prosecuting grooming gangs, but also, I believe rapists and even things involving minors. They've been terrible. So that's where when I see them now, attempting to prosecute the Tate brothers, I don't think that should trivialize the grooming gangs. I think the UK should be rewarded for prosecuting any rapists at all.
Yeah.
And let's hope that that they get better in general at this.
I also see this whole reaction is like connected to what you said. So, so the UK doesn't care about these grooming gangs, but suddenly they want to do this thing with Andrew and Tristan Tate. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Must be politically motivated. Okay, all right. Even if you think it could be politically motivated, even if you think it could be hypocritical, that's a completely separate thing, right? We know what these guys did. We know that these things are severe crimes. We know that they sex trafficked. We know that they raped. He admitted on multiple occasions that he raped. We have now so many independent victims and reports of rape. He was also bragging about raping in different words. We know from his own words and his own calculations and the court records and everything that he groomed minors. So even if the UK does a terrible job, they should do a good job now, and you should.
Well,
be
you're right.
Supporting that.
You're right. The idea of that if this goes to trial in the UK, and if they're convicted and it's proved in the court of law that they're guilty of being rapists, sex traffickers, child pornographers, does that mean that they shouldn't have been prosecuted because the UK dropped the ball on grooming gangs? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah, you're right.
And there are these reactions of some people who say, "But wait a minute, leave it to you can't just condemn him and treat him as guilty or anything like that." And this usually comes from people who want to argue that he's being unjustly persecuted.
Always.
It's like, dude, I am not the one interfering here. I want him to be taken to trial, and I want it. I really, really badly want those two guys to get a fair trial, but a fair trial in every sense. It's that they should get a fair trial, because I know we know what these guys did. Yes, they are innocent until proven guilty in front of the law. That doesn't change anything about the fact that these guys clearly did what perfectly fits the definition of sex trafficking, rape, trafficking of minors, and so on and so forth. If you want to stand up and say, no, they're being persecuted, you are the one who doesn't want the justice to happen. I want it to happen. I want these guys to go to their trials. I want them to be judged.
Yeah. Well, I also, that's, that the whole reason why I started covering the Tates was because I saw Tucker Carlson interview Andrew Tate. And Tucker Carlson either didn't bother to do 5 minutes worth of research to actually find out what Andrew Tate was just indicted for weeks before the interview, or he knew and he allowed Andrew Tate to lie. Because that's what I believe Andrew Tate did. Because Tucker Carlson asked, he said, "You're not charged with rape." And Andrew Tate said, "No." Literally, he had just been indicted on 2 continuous acts of rape in Romania. And Tucker Carlson didn't correct him, allowed that to fly. That interview prompted me to start making videos covering the Tate brothers, because we saw them over and over again push a narrative that I believe was objectively false, and I believe that they used the fact that they were being prosecuted in Romania to muddy the waters about the reality of their criminal cases. And on top of that, they also were and still continue to be suing one of their alleged victims in America for defamation. They made her life an absolute living hell. Them and their, lackeys, their cult, I believe, have been harassing her endlessly while saying all sorts of outrageous false things about her and all of their criminal cases and their accusations. And that was going unchecked, I believe. So that's where I thought it was important to actually be able to counter that with the truth. You're right. In a perfect world, you just let the criminal justice system prosecute them. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in the world of social media, and we live in the world where you have people like the Tate brothers who have millions and millions of followers, and less so now, but back then they were still being platformed by major figures on the right. And they were allowed to go onto these massive platforms and spread what I believe were lies about what they were being accused of, including just outrageous, just blatant false things like that there were no victims, that their crimes were about TikTok, all sorts of these things like that. So you're right. This has never been about me trying to litigate this in public. It's just been about trying to actually get the truth out there.
But it's innocent until proven guilty. But what do you say about this, Nathan? Don't you feel bad for these guys? Here's Andrew Tate crying. He's saying, "I am being held in SCU, the highest level of security which exists. No commissary, no visits, no contact with the outside world. My neighbor is a cannibal who screams throughout the night."
It's almost poetry. It's almost like a rap.
Don't you feel bad for this guy, man?
He pulled the same thing. They pulled the same thing in Romania. After they were initially arrested, and then they were let out on house arrest, they were saying that they were effectively put into a dungeon, a cockroach-infested dungeon, and they were fed gruel. And the reality was they were put into a brand new, recently renovated prison, where they were fed. They literally brought steaks from restaurants from the outside. They had Xboxes. I mean, so it's hilarious for them to use that, because you can kind of get away with that in Romania. There's an idea of what Romania is, but it's hilarious for them to be using the same strategy now they're in America.
It is pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. So getting to the charges, the Telegraph said Andrew Tate will face charges of rape, sex trafficking, and pornography, including charges related to indecent images of a child. They have put this headline very mildly, actually, here. They should go into the specifics of what pornography the case is actually about. Gladly, we have Newsweek here covering this. A long introduction of who these pimps are, And then, what are the Tate brothers charged with? British prosecutors say the new charges stem from alleged offenses from 2010 to 2017, involving 4 additional victims. According to the Crown Prosecution Service, Andrew is charged with 7 counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and 19 offenses connected to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Now, this is British legal terminology, but indecent images of a child has a narrow, small range, I would say, from outright from child pornography to nude photos of a child, and so on and so forth. So this nicely put indecent images here. This is basically child pornography and extreme pornography, which goes into more and more detail. I don't know if there's anything you want to expand on here when it comes to these 19 charges or offenses.
Yeah, this is all new. So we'll hear more and more about what these additional charges were. You know, the Tate brothers were first criminally charged in the UK. I mean, you're going back over 2 years ago. It was 2024 March was when they were first charged. So these are now additional charges, and so this is the first time in the UK that Andrew Tate has been charged with offences involving a minor. However, in Romania, he was charged in 2024 in August with sex with a minor and trafficking of a minor into pornography. Now, we're aware of who the alleged victim is with the trafficking of a minor into pornography in Romania. Her name is Vivian, is what she's referred to. There's a lot about that's been covered. Andrew Tate, he even spoke about being in a relationship with her, according to him, when she was 15, which means that she was a minor in the UK when that happened. We also appear to be aware that she was webcamming. It's believed when she was a minor in the UK. Now, this is where it's important to point out, we don't know who these alleged victims are. We don't know whether this is her or this is someone else. But that's a little background. But the interesting thing is that when the UK first criminally charged them in March 2024, they put out an arrest warrant. This led to the Tate brothers being arrested in Romania, and then an extradition order was then put in place, where Romania would then send them to the UK after they were done with the criminal proceedings in Romania. As we've covered, the criminal proceedings in Romania has been dragging on for a long time. So now these additional criminal offenses has led to a separate arrest warrant, which is how they were then able to be arrested and then for a new extradition order to be placed with America. Because it doesn't mean that it's now cancelled out in Romania with their extradition order they had in place through agreement with the UK, because this is a new one. So that's why you see Andrew Tate being arrested in Miami, that footage, and you see him like flinching when people are coming towards him.
Oh, yeah.
Because this seemed like it was completely unexpected. They had no, I believe that they thought that they were safe, because as long as Romania was still ongoing with their, in my mind, never-ending prosecution of them, of just like continuing trying to get that done, that they were safe and they wouldn't be extradited to the UK because there was an agreement.
Oh, yeah, that was the agreement, right? That was the agreement. It was that Romania basically responded that once they are done with the Tates, they will extradite them to the UK.
That's right. Now that's where even I believed that maybe the corruption in Romania, because Romania is corrupt. I don't believe that there was corruption in the prosecution of the Tate brothers. I believe that they're actually doing their best to be able to prosecute them. However, it came to a point where things were dragging on so much that I couldn't help but being suspicious that possibly the Tate brothers had maybe been able to influence people to have the corruption be in their favor so that they could use Romania as a safe harbor where they could just keep that thing going on, the prosecution. Then they didn't need to worry about being extradited to the UK. Meanwhile, the judicial controls were lifted that they could now travel around the world and live, almost like how they used to live. Now, this is the thing. It's like the legal proceedings were never dropped in Romania. They were still ongoing.
Yeah.
But it was just dragging on. Anyway, so that's a long way of saying this has led to a new arrest warrant because there's additional charges from the UK, which is now how they've been able to agree with America and the UK to be able to grab them in America and now, likely be able to send them over to finally face prosecution.
Yeah. Let's watch this little clip here for a second.
The ones who are really in love with you won't do that. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years, which is difficult. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we felt whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh yeah, I started off working for him and it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28. Vivian's like 21. Vivian.
So yeah, if you can do maths, he says that he's been with Vivian for 6 years, and he says that she's 21. Again, this is confirming the dumbest criminals in history hypothesis.
I wonder if he was aware that you're not allowed to do this. What a retard.
You've seen that video of him on a podcast where he says he's talking about sleeping with 15-year-olds, and then he corrects himself to say 16, and then he corrects himself to say, what's the legal age in America?
Oh, yeah. He wants to
Okay.
restate it based on what the legal age of consent is. Tristan faces 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. So 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. One thing to keep in mind is that these charges might not cover everything that he did. I think it's very far from it. These 38 new charges build on an existing UK case in which the brothers already faced multiple counts of rape, bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. Controlling prostitution for gain? Are they just making this up? Wait a minute. I heard both Andrew and Tristan Tate explicitly talk and brag about this and instruct others to do this as well. Am I wrong? With the additions, the total number of charges against the brothers in the UK now stands at 59. The Crown Prosecution Service said it has formally requested their extradition from the United States. The brothers also remain entangled in Romania, where they were arrested in 2022 and later charged with human trafficking and rape. Also later on with trafficking of minors. That case has stalled due to legal and procedural issues, but has not been closed. And the separate Romanian legal matter remains active. Andrew Tate has repeatedly claimed that prosecutors have no evidence and alleges a political conspiracy against him. Is it true that they have no evidence?
This is the thing that they've continually repeated with all the videos that you see. The ones that I make compilations of, they continually insist this isn't being used as evidence. That's false. The videos of them self-snitching in Romania, I don't know about the UK, but in Romania, those videos of Andrew Tate self-snitching and seemingly teaching human trafficking courses are absolutely being used as evidence against them.
Nice. So we have tons of evidence already, and we have tons of evidence from behind the scenes as well. So Here is now his lawyer speaking out, and his lawyer is a complete scumbag. I have to say here for a second. He's now speaking about the current charges that are brought against him in the UK. The UK has now brought charges related to minors, including the trafficking of minors and child pornography. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, child pornography. Now, here's his lawyer speaking about this. His poor lawyer is speaking for the persecuted Andrew Tate, and he is alleging that the involvement of minors has never ever been part of the dialogue when it comes to Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. You put this together, Nathan. Milkbar TV put this together. Let's have a look at it. Did you put this together?
I did.
Good.
But now you want to equivocate him to Epstein. That is the play here. But I think any reasonable-minded person who has followed this story with any degree of attention understands that these types of allegations with minors and pornography, child stuff, has never been a part of the dialogue.
Police have raided Andrew Tate's home in Romania as new allegations emerge involving minors.
The trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor.
New accusation as well, like trafficking a minor or having sex with the minor. They accuse you of having sex with a 15-year-old.
So all of a sudden, this is here now, but now you...
This is just incredible to me, man. Both the Tates and their lawyer, they have done the very same thing repeatedly over the years now. This blatant lying in your face of like, what minors? Nobody ever even talked about minors when this has been around. I mean, we went through the evidence tons. This has been around for years now. That they have been trafficking minors. That he literally raised a minor into becoming one of his main, his bottom,
his first girl, according to him.
Yeah, was a minor that he raised and had sex with when she was 14 or 15 years old. So, and this guy asked like, what minors? No, this has never been part of the conversation. And they do the same thing with the charges have been dropped. The same lawyer. They have repeatedly said when no charges have ever been dropped, and charges have been dropped. Breaking news, charges have been dropped. 2 months later, breaking news, all charges dropped. A month later, breaking, all charges have been dropped. This is just insane, man.
The big ones, one of the blatant ones was we stopped the webcam over 10 years ago. They were saying in 2022, 2023. It really is an indictment, I think. The platforms that they're welcome onto are so few and far between now, and I think it really speaks to they're only going to go on platforms at this point that offer them zero pushback. Mm-hmm. So that's why you now see them on Patrick Bet David. There's this young kid like Jack Neal, but there was a time where they were still going on platforms like Piers Morgan, it was even someone like Piers Morgan. It was, man, it was so frustrating to see, Andrew Tate. It's like a Jedi mind trick where Piers Morgan would say, you've been indicted for running webcam studio, charges related to webcam studio. And Andrew Tate would say, it's nothing to do with webcam. It's to do with TikTok. He would say that to Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan would just let him get away with that. Whereas the publicly available indictment clearly shows that TikTok's involved, but it's absolutely about webcamming. It's absolutely about OnlyFans. Time and time again, they would just blatantly, in my opinion, just blatantly lie, and you'd have these people on alternative media spaces who would offer zero pushback whatsoever, and just swallow the lies. I think it's real. I think that the Tate case really is an indictment on the alternative media landscape of how openly he was embraced, and how he managed to seemingly build this network that just pushed out his propaganda.
Two of the primary, people who are just very, very big and who love to spread fake news on behalf of just purely evil people. Two figures are unfortunately Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Both of them have provided a very, very safe and nice place for these guys to lie about themselves and to lie about the case and to lie about victims and everything. Candace Owens also because she's friends with Andrew Tate, and her husband is a friend of Andrew Tate. So
long time
yeah,
friend.
long time, and she will act as if she totally hates child trafficking and pornography and human trafficking and this and that, but then she will actually knowingly invite Andrew Tate on, who is a sex trafficker, a rapist, a groomer and trafficker of minors, and a professional pornographer. I mean, this is the funny thing. The latter is not even in any way debatable. Not that the other parts are debatable, but the latter is there's not even anything to prove. It's just they have always proudly said that they have put adult content out there, that they have, in his words, the girls. I'll put them in front of the camera with our tits out, and I would sit behind the camera. I would sit in the background and type. And he would pretend to be the woman on the screen while the woman is naked, and that's how they collect money from viewers through a webcam business. The women in the webcam business were lured into it under false pretenses that he's their boyfriend, and that this is just something that they temporarily need to do until they get married and have a nice house and all that. And in some cases, it got much darker than that. So he was always proud of, and this is only the mild side. He started out with worse, of just full on having sex in front of a camera with these girls and then putting it on webcam, often without even getting the confirmation beforehand and all that. So it's very strange that supposedly conservative people defend these guys.
Well, I just want to, Candace Owens on her show said that in 2019, when she first met Andrew Tate, when she started dating her soon-to-be husband, and she was introduced to his friend Andrew Tate in 2019. So before Andrew Tate was famous.
Mm-hmm.
And Candace Owens had her Romanian assistant with her at this event in a London hotel. And Candace Owens, the way she says it, she says, I spent most of the evening with George Farmer, who she would then marry. But my assistant, who's from Romania, spoke with Andrew Tate. And after her Romanian assistant spoke with Andrew Tate, she went to Candace Owens and warned her and said, that guy over there, he's a pimp in Romania. This is what Candace Owens has said. She was warned in 2019 that Andrew Tate was a pimp in Romania by her Romanian assistant. Candace Owens even says it's like, my Romanian assistant knows this stuff. She's from there. Now, this is the thing. If you're warned like years and years ago about someone who's a pimp in Romania, and then they end up getting arrested for human trafficking, I would be thinking, oh, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's some substance to that. Not Candace Owens. She immediately comes out and says, oh, it's all political. It's all political. Now again, she was warned in 2019 that he was a pimp in Romania. And then she gives an interview with Andrew Tate in 2023 where Andrew Tate is flatly saying that he stopped webcamming 10 years ago, which would make it 2013. Mm-hmm. And Candace Owens repeats this over and over again saying, oh, who I was 10 years ago? I was so different 10 years ago. How can you judge someone by who they were 10 years ago? Meanwhile, she was warned in 2019 that he was a pimp. This is where it's like, Candace Owens is just like a completely disgusting, morally bankrupt liar. I'm so glad that finally people are awake to just how much of a completely horrendous character she is. And she was fired from the Daily Wire in large part because of what she did with Andrew Tate, running cover for him.
Yeah, and it's not just that she's just ignorant or anything like that. I'm very sure that if after the interview or prior to the interview, Andrew came and said, well, I actually quit the webcam business only this month, only two years ago, only 1 year ago. It's not even fully down yet. She would be like, yeah, I know, it's okay, all right.
That's right.
I don't think she would say, wait a minute, I didn't know this. I misinformed everyone now. This is disgusting. I can no longer work with you. No, she is just full on corrupt. She spreads the evil. She's happy with the evil as long as it brings her money. And there is a whole wide web of corrupt evil out there, man. But I'm glad that there are now signs that these guys are being taken down. But I want to have a look at this nice compilation here. I think you put this together, didn't you? Or somebody else did. I don't know. 4 minutes of him explaining how he traffics.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense. Like, I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch.
Language alert, everybody.
It's the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Pause there.
Criminal act.
So that it's so important to have a good first girl. Now, according to Andrew Tate, that first girl was 15 when he got a relationship. That's who he's referring to as his good first girl, according to Andrew Tate.
That girl, I think to my knowledge, she doesn't really cooperate. She's kind of she's still in the Tate camp, at least on the surface in public. But is that true, or do you think that is how it is? Or
they've been their latest propaganda campaign since being arrested on Sunday has to trot out all these videos of women defending them. And so their first one was putting out compilations of Vivian, and they're claiming this is brand new. So they're claiming all these girls have come out to defend them, and all these videos, at least 2 years old. And so I haven't seen anything new from Vivian defending them. But if you can just imagine hypothetically, if there's a girl who was groomed from the age of 15 by a pimp and has been with them for a decade, what that's like, what that the toll that takes psychologically on someone. So there's been I saw her she pops up every now on Instagram and on social media, and then she'll delete her accounts. But there was a point where she was talking about trying to create a safe haven for women who had been in abusive relationships. There was indications of maybe that she talked about an ex, and she talked about potentially being in an abusive relationship with this ex. So there was indications of maybe, but I just really think of someone who's been, I believed, groomed from that younger age, the amount of control that someone has over them, I'd be very surprised if they were able to escape that.
I think this is also in the clip here that we're watching, but I want to have a look at this very quickly. This is the woman in question, isn't it? This is Vivian. Andrew Tate groomed her from when she... Oh, I don't have my screen up, of course. This is Vivian. Andrew Tate groomed her from when she was 14, 15. Let's watch it here for a second.
That's the reasoning behind why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys accidentally, how funny is that? Accidentally kill their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
Does
Andrew Tate
feel like a normal, healthy human being?
Yeah, look at those eyes after saying something like that. Just dead eyes. Andrew Tate has, by my count, it's been now around 10 or over 10 women have made the same allegation that Andrew Tate strangled them, choked them. That spans from, I believe, going back to 2012 up until 2025. So I always point this out. This is women who've never met each other, who, you know, live in completely different countries. Some of them don't even speak the same language. And all of them have made the very same specific allegation that Andrew Tate choked them. Some of them to the point of being unconscious while they were having sex. And according to them, he continued having sex while they were unconscious. So they came back around to find that he was still having sex with them. Some of them allegedly had very severe medical injuries, which there's evidence that also allegedly includes medical certificates, photographs, all sorts of things like this. So this thing with Andrew Tate strangling women comes up over and over again, including in the new charges in the UK.
And we have videos as well of both Andrew and Tristan talking about proudly, of course, long before the charges against them were brought forth, about proudly talking about how they would hurt women and seriously hurt women, not just to play, not just as a little sex act, but actually hurt women, and they would get pleasure out of doing this.
I mean, this to me, this speaks to how much I think Andrew Tate is just a completely sick, violent predator. Again, I'm being defamed, so I have to catch all this in, I believe. But Andrew Tate, for the first time in years, was finally allowed to leave Romania because it's been reported on that people in the Trump administration were able to lift strings. And they were finally allowed to leave Romania. They go to America. Within 1 month of pretty much being guests of the Trump administration in America, Andrew Tate, it appears, couldn't go 3 weeks without strangling a woman, Bree Stern, his girlfriend at the time, who then went to the police and is suing him, and also says she has, you know, hospital records of her incurring concussion. Like, just think about that. What kind of a sick predator that potentially is, where you can't even go a few weeks of being let out from being, you know, in Romania facing these very serious charges, that you then, you know, choke a woman. There's zero restraint in that. That just speaks to how much of a psychopathic predator I think Andrew Tate is.
He can't help it. He has to do it. He has to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I often think about Goodfellas, the ending of Goodfellas with Henry Hill, where he's put into witness protection, and it's this thing of like he has to live a normal life, and in many ways that's worse than going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that with Andrew Tate. You know, even if for whatever reason all of these criminal charges all dropped and faded away, the idea of him having to behave himself and not get into trouble, not to suppress the urge, I believe, to strangle and abuse women, that would be a prison in and of itself to Andrew Tate, because I believe that's his true nature.
Here we have some video.
Oh, Olivia, Jesus Christ! I was the second man she ever f***ed in her whole life. Beautiful, big, natural tits, so cute. Man, it hurt her at every moment that I was doing it, but it felt good for me, so who gives a shit?
This is kind of funny stuff that they talk about, right? It's very, very... Didn't this guy later on start condemning them?
Yeah, he has. That's where you said, you know, don't lump them in with the manosphere, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people from the manosphere who have turned against the Tates.
The best video that I like the most of Andrew Tate is this one here. But...
Would you rather have sex with a transsexual, which is a legitimate 10, or a woman, which is a legitimate 1? And everyone's sitting there clicking woman, 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 because they think they're going to be gay if they do anything else, but they're not actually thinking about the question. I am so smart. I operate on so many levels higher than the average man. You people are not thinking about the question. When I say a 1 and a 10, I mean Megan Fox with a dick. That's the tranny. or Hulk Hogan with a pussy? That's the girl. This is the question I'm asking. Megan Fox or Hulk Hogan? So you're thinking, well, I don't want to be gay, so I just clicked the girl, the number one, did it? You're going to fuck Hulk Hogan? Yeah, there's a pussy. He's got mustache and muscles and shit. He's all hairy, big dude, 6'5". Pretty gay to me. That sounds pretty gay. I don't care if it's pussy. That is gay. There's Megan Fox. Okay, he's got a dick, but maybe you can like scoot it out the way. I'm still Megan Fox.
So he's gay.
People. It's important to always remind people that Andrew Tate made millions off getting men to, sexually get off. And I don't mean that it was through the women that he employed. I mean that he literally typed to the men, dirty talking them into climaxing. And he did that, as a living. That's how he made his money.
Yeah. That's what he did.
First girl.
It says the criminal activities of these defendants are a form of slavery, according to the prosecutor's office, like 19th century U.S. slave owners who branded their slaves with a red iron. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate defendants brand their victims with tattoos indicating that they are the defendant's property. For example, they have tattoos with the message, owned by Tate, in English.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do. When I watch a Bond film and I see him basically pimp a bitch, to me that speaks to my heart. I've been there. I've done that. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that I first made my $1 million with a webcam business. I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to this bitch. I don't want to, I just need the money.
So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we fell, whatever, we're in love. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21. Vivian's younger, she's more fun, more outgoing. I built my business off the back of my dick. That's how I built it. So I got rich. So I became militant with the thinking. And my bottom bitch understood it. And she understood that perfectly. So that is the recruitment structure, and that is extremely important. I hope you understand why you have to have sex with a girl. Otherwise, she is going to leave. What you don't want to do is get a bunch of girls, teach them how to make money from home, and then let them leave you and run off and make money for themselves. And then you check their Instagrams, and they're having a great life, and they're fucking rich, and you have nothing. You don't want to do that. So you have to fuck the girl.
That's the reasoning behind like why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys actually accidentally, how funny is that? Actually accidentally kill their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
She's gone.
That's when the game starts. Now I need her to quit her job, leave her house, move in with me, work on webcam, do as I say, share me with other women, and give me her money. That's the hard part.
If you're interested in my website, cobratate.com, I have the PhD course, which teaches you everything I know about women, everything I learned about girls in running my webcam industry. I've had over 75 girls work for me in webcam, and they gave me all their money. So I obviously know something. I think I have another thing that people find interesting about me is how I get, it's not that I just get females. How do I get females to comply? How do I get females to work for me for free and give me all the money?
Hey.
Hello, Alina.
Work for me for free and give me all the money. Further on, expanded on with one little clip here.
And I became a multi-millionaire. I did this by creating a webcam studio, by taking girls who didn't know how to be effective on webcam, girls who had never done webcam before, girls who didn't have the equipment, didn't have the know-how, didn't have the will, didn't have the premises, didn't have the ability to make money with this exchange. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income, allowed me to make sure they were effective, because it's a super competitive.
Retain 100% of their income.
Industry. Don't think this is easy money. You're just going to put a girl on the camera and they're going to get rich straight away. No, it's very competitive and it's very difficult. I learned every tip and trick it takes to make sure a girl gets paid. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away, because once you teach a girl how to do this, she has the ability to make unlimited money from home. Why would she still give it to you? Why does she just run off and keep it all for herself? Why are you getting your percentage? I learned how to do everything, to take a nobody and make her a somebody. I learned how to take a nothing, turn her into a cash cow. And betas from all across the world would be sending money into my bank account. This is what webcamming is.
So, it's what he has been doing. This is what he has been doing. This is further explained in his other videos and in the reports about him. He finds a woman. He checks that woman out. He thinks, oh yeah, she's good looking, she's cute, she's nice. Okay, nice. Let me flirt with her and go and try and have sex with her. That's where the process starts. He goes and has sex with the woman. During that entire procedure, he decides whether the woman in question is a good fit or not. And that comes down to one thing. Will she obey me? Is she broken? Can she be manipulated by me? Or is she another rational, smart, intelligent human being that is near equal to me, so I can't just make her do things? She could take matters into her own hands. If it's the latter, then not a good fit. Dump her. If it's the former, especially if she's broken, if she comes from a bad background, if she has a dark past, if she faced abuse, if she is stupid, and so on, he's like, okay, perfect candidate. I can take this girl. I don't care about her values. I don't care if she's a Christian. I don't care if she's religious. I don't care if she never wants to do porn. I will take this girl. I will somehow manipulate her and put her into the circumstances. I will brainwash her. I will lie to her. I will tell her, hey, this is just temporary. We just have to work together until we can, get a house and be a family together and all that. And then she will become forever, permanently my slave, be on camera, get naked, and I take 100% of her income and gave her a little bit of it. That is what he did. This is human trafficking.
But even, including the Romanian, in the Romanian indictment, it documents one of the girls who attempted to escape. This is documented. They have the verified messages from Tristan Tate to the bottom bitches. That's the other thing to remember, is that with the bottom bitches, they work like the Ghislaine Maxwell template that people have in their mind. So these bottom bitches are working for the Tate brothers to allegedly help manipulate these girls. And so there's these verified chats where it documents that one of the girls didn't want a webcam. She wanted to stop. And Tristan Tate, according to the Romanian indictment that has verified chats, allegedly told the bottom bitches to hit her if she wouldn't comply. This happened. They gave her a boob job just recently, gave her breast implants. And one of the bottom bitches allegedly, in these chats, they talk about that. They talk, if she wants to leave, we just paid for breast implants. We want to get them back. One of the bottom bitches even yanked her arm, which tore the stitching on the newly put in breast implants, and they assaulted her. This girl ran to the local police to say what was going on. How terrifying is this? One of the bottom bitches was actually a Romanian police officer at one point in time, and went to the same police academy as one of the local police officers. This local Romanian police officer called the bottom bitch, and they went and picked up this girl and brought her back to the house. Meanwhile, while she was at the police office, the bottom bitches in the house took all the other webcam girls and then went onto the computer and posted this girl's pornography that she made to her Facebook, so her family and friends could all see the pornography she made. And they did that as a warning to the other girls that this is what happens. Meanwhile, they threw out her clothes. This is documented in the Romanian indictment with verified chat logs. So this is where when people say, "Oh, it was all voluntary," This is the girls wanted to do this. This is where it's not true. And the Romanian police officers, it was even then came to light that they were reprimanded because they didn't actually action the statements that this girl made. So that's a bit of an idea also of not only like how you explained well how they allegedly groom them, get them into webcamming, but also what happens if they want to stop.
Oh yeah. You have different documentations from. It's going to be a little bit graphic here. I apologize in advance. From the court documents in Romania, this one reports the following. Continues. So remember, the lawyer, Enrique's lawyer, just said that minors were never part of the conversation, but this is from like 2 years ago. Continuous sexual acts with a minor, without being able to establish the number of material acts, an offense provided for and punished by Article so and so and so and so and so and so Criminal Code, consisting in the fact that the named Andrew Tate, starting from 2020, where he had rented an apartment to the victim, repeatedly engaged in sexual intercourse and anal and oral sexual acts with the named so-and-so, personal identification number so-and-so, knowing that she was 15 years old. So one of the people he brought over to Romania, 2020, he rented an apartment for her, had her there when she was 15 years old, and repeatedly visited her and did all kinds of crazy sexual interactions with her while he was running his pimping business. Sexual acts with a minor, also used for sex work. The thing with minors and age and consent and sex work is that even in countries where the age of consent is generally slightly lower, there is a universal rule, which is that anyone under the age of 18, if used in sex work, it is trafficking. It is sex trafficking. You cannot do that with anybody who is underage by the laws, which are universally acknowledged at this point.
I sent you, I don't know if you've got it there, but in the private chat, I sent you also, she gave a couple of statements. So if you do want to pull them up, this is the 15-year-old. And she's another one who has alleged that should be in our private chat. Should be the criminal charge. This is a should be the post there. You go to a private chat, but I can read what it says because she gave a couple of statements. Yeah, and so let me read out the statements she gave with the conversation. I believe this was a conversation she had with her friend. So this is a 15-year-old. So this isn't Vivian. This is another minor. I believe I'm pretty sure she's Romanian. So she said, again, this is going to get graphic. You take her so young, you fool her and make her your slave. Fuck you. And anyway, think about it, bro. When I was little, I had sex with him. God, he put his dick in my ass and I was telling him, stop, bro. Well, that's what I'm saying. That I already have many regrets and I can't anymore. He choked me. Fuck, when I was little, once I fainted. Fuck, he slapped me twice and I came to. And you know when it was one of those things. I don't know what. Just like that, one of those things.
How old was she?
15.
That was the 15-year-old? Yeah.
According to this. And in another statement, she said, also, I specify that when we had sex, Andrew was often aggressive with me in the sense that he beat me with a belt, choked me. It happened that once he choked me until I fainted, circumstances in which he woke me up by slapping me in the face. This is allegedly a 15-year-old that he rented out an apartment for in 2020, not that long ago. 15-year-old allegedly rented out this apartment, and he was doing all these things, as the charge says, continuously. And then once it appeared that he was getting charged for this, it was actually then caught that he attempted to bribe this alleged victim and offered to pay her, I think it was 5,000 euros to deny all of this. And then it was reported that he cheaped out from paying her. And so then
very stupid move.
She did testifying to the Romanian authorities.
Very stupid move. Now the funny thing is, people rage a lot about Jeffrey Epstein, and you will see that lots of these people who defend Andrew Tate will somehow say, "But what about the Epstein files? Do you even care about the Epstein?" Oh, you meant by private chat that is here in the private chat here. Okay, I was looking at Twitter. Anyway, I will notice next time. So the people who rage about Jeffrey Epstein and want to defend Andrew Tate often do not realize and don't really know, or sometimes maybe do know, but then just ignore it, that for the longest time, until the very recent declassified documents, before the law, legally, the youngest victim in court of Jeffrey Epstein's grooming campaigns and actions was 14 years old. I know people generally have this idea of what Jeffrey Epstein did because they hear trafficking of minors or child trafficking, and they think that he literally, abducted little children and put them into cages and then sold them and stuff like that. That's not really what was happening. With Jeffrey Epstein, what was happening is that he, through manipulation, through payments, through this and this and that, sometimes through coercion and blackmail, employed girls that were very, very often underage, according to the documents before the law, as young as 14 years old, and made them do sexual services and sexual acts and other things that he was not allowed to do, which amounted to sex trafficking. And for that, he was prosecuted. Now, to be fair, the most recent documents that were declassified have revealed that Jeffrey Epstein may have had victims that were younger than that, and may have been as young as possibly 10 years old, but he wasn't prosecuted for those things. He was prosecuted for 14, youngest. What Andrew Tate does here, and probably Tristan Tate too, repeatedly, according to documentation, according to the victim's statements, according to the public statements, according to his own stupid statements, because he's such an idiot, he was doing similar things, if not worse, to underage girls. So if people want to rage about the evils that Jeffrey Epstein did, they should also be raging in the same way about the things that Andrew Tate did. We have significantly more evidence for the things that Andrew Tate did to minors and to others. And I would say in many ways what Andrew Tate did is worse than what Jeffrey Epstein did.
Yeah, I agree.
To documentation.
I agree. If people genuinely want to know what the facts around Jeffrey Epstein, I encourage you to look at Michael Tracy's reporting. He's a fairly polarizing figure, but his reporting on Epstein is fact-based. He's someone who spent years going through all of the court documents, analyzing the evidence, and reporting on it. So I encourage people to look at Michael Tracy's work, but I also I encourage people to, this stuff is available. The Epstein stuff is available. You can find the Romanian indictment on Andrew Tate. Really, look at the court documents. Go to the evidence, go to the facts. Don't rely on trust me, bro, of what Andrew Tate. Or don't do it with me either. Verify what I'm saying. I will never ever tell someone just trust what I'm saying and purely go off that as a basis. I'll always back up what I'm saying with receipts, and if people want the receipts or want the basis for what I'm saying, I'll provide them. But I mean, man, people are lazy these days. They're so lazy. And conspiracy theorists just run completely wild Really just like get into the behavior. Open ChatGPT. If you even want to be like lazy, open ChatGPT and, you know, even drop some of the court documents and just get that to like analyze it and look at that. That's not ideal, but it's better than listening to these, you know, alternative media grifters.
But what if ChatGPT is controlled by the Jews?
By the Zionists? True.
Yeah. So you heard it, everybody. Nathan says, "Don't trust me," whereas I will say, "Trust me at all times. Don't look up things for yourself." Timothy Freeman says, "Martyrs of Compiègne and St. Andrew, pray for us." NorCal Global, the Pluto Bible of the Entheogenic Church of Enoch out now. Defense of the West, critical thinking, reading, astrology, and entheogens are baked in. Belfast is mentioned. So much of what you talk about is in it. I will make a note of it, although I have no idea what you're talking about. Timothy Freeman says, "Why is Bro still referring to these victims as bottom beaches? I thought this was the channel of Holy Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople." Yeah, but we have to make exceptions because we have to talk about the facts, Timothy. So
I'm Australian. We love
Yes,
our
that's
bottom
true.
beaches. We love our bottom
Yeah.
beaches now.
Yeah. I find this very nice here. There's currently a thing going on with community notes on Twitter where community notes are appearing everywhere where Andrew Tate is just lying or people are making lies on behalf of Andrew Tate. You have this here, "Why they arrested me." Community note says, "Andrew Tate was arrested because he's facing 42 criminal charges, including rape, human trafficking, and child pornography." This is beautiful, man.
Yeah, they
This is
even with one of them with the Vivian one where it was like just in, you know, victim of Andrew Tate, you know, comes to defend him, and it was great. They even used me as evidence to say this is from years old, and also this girl was a minor when Andrew Tate was with him.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, man. BTOTH says, "To offer an antidote to the Tates, the short book Red Light Mercy by Sleeping Giant and Tommy Green is solid, about how the 7th century Saint Vitalis of Gaza's story intersects with his current anti-trafficking work." Interesting. I shall make a note of this. Chicken Power says, "Hey, Rid, why Muslims only support what? Why do Muslims only support Palestine? Because it is I explained this earlier in my live stream. Because it's a religious cause to them. It is a significant religious cause. It carries complete religious symbolic significance. The Mule, the better life just ended. I'm back to this one. LOL. It did. Nice. You mean the worst one? Karen Fisher, "Are there no men left in the world who will protect young girls? So many stories of men who are thrilled to rape girls who are vulnerable and not capable or experienced enough to defend themselves." I would say, I don't know. I sometimes find it difficult to talk about this because I have a little bit of a more, I don't know if I want to call it pessimistic or less optimistic view on humans and people in general, or whether there is a blindness. There was this unforgettable moment to me. It was like a year or two ago. This was during a live stream where somebody said that somebody was arguing that that Tate is correct, or that it is correct that a man should go out and have experience as much as possible and have sex with as many women as possible. But the same person was also arguing that it is absolutely bad to raise girls or to be married to a woman who is promiscuous and all that. And I thought, I really do not understand what you're saying here. I've always thought, I've always immediately realized the contradiction of what you're saying here. Does it even make sense to you? After I did explain this contradiction, the person that I was arguing with said, I never actually thought about it that way. And I thought, what? How didn't you think about it this way? I don't understand. We've heard it so many times. It's you will have these same people who are Andrew Tate fans, for example, who will call people sluts and whores and whatever it is. And so we'll consider it a negative and a bad and a degenerate and a terrible thing that so many women are sluts and whores and whatever. But the same people will consider it a virtuous, a great, a fantastic thing to go out and have sex with as many women as possible. All right. So you consider it a bad thing that many women are sluts and whores and whatever you want to call them. And you would never want your daughter to be like that. You would never want your partner to be like that. But you also believe that you should have tons of experience having sex with said sluts and whores. Where do you think the supply of sluts and whores comes from?
Yeah. Well, that's like Tristan Tate, you know, his thing being having sex with virgins. You know, so his whole thing is he loves manipulating virgins, but at the same time, it's exactly the same thing where he talks about how women are whores and you can't trust them and, you know, blah, blah. But yet his whole thing is, you know, manipulating virgins into having sex with him. These are men that hate women. To me, this is misogyny. They, you know, there's no respect for women in this. This is not, you know, it's not a coincidence that these men are also alleged to have beaten them and exploited them and done all sorts of terrible things. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to have a solid moral system and establish, not just subjectively or on a case by case basis, but in general acknowledge and establish that it's a bad thing, right? That the promiscuity and that kind of living is a bad thing. So nobody should be doing it. And no, it's not just women who should not be doing it. It's also men who should not be doing it. You don't have an excuse just because you're a man, right? If it's a bad thing, it should be bad for everyone, not just for women. It should be bad for the men and for the women. No man should be should be a fan of just having sex with as many as possible. If you think, but it's fun, well, you should give up on the fun. Some things are fun, but probably not good. So you should disavow those things and not do those things to begin with, and not support this kind of that kind of mentality of treating women like whores. It has become, it is unfortunately very, very normal in society, and very often the very same people who are angry about grooming gangs, about rape and all that, are people who will proudly tell stories of how much they treated girls or women like objects and had sex with them in such and such and such way, but she wanted it anyway. You are creating the environment. People need to just regather, realize that the values that they actually want in society, that they have lost track of them, and they need to find those values again, get back to those values again of a good, proper, moral society, so that people are no longer blinded to their own evil actions against others, so that they see clearly that the things that Andrew Tate does, that people like Andrew Tate do, are evil, so that people don't just make excuses for such treatment of other individuals, of girls, of women. Most people need to correct them, or many people need to first correct themselves and the way they think about things before standing up and protecting girls. Many people don't even realize that the girls need protection because they themselves have a very diluted idea of what girls actually are and how they actually should be, because they themselves don't know how they themselves should be. Need to establish a proper moral system once again, and just I am no one to speak here, but I would say, and I would give this as an advice to myself and to everyone, would be being a good Christian would be a good place to start.
I in the private chat I just sent you a clip, which it just came to mind. I should actually post this, but this is, as I say, I think this is maybe the most honest statement I've ever seen Andrew give, and it's on this topic and just ask yourself, is this someone who is making the world a better place or making it more evil?
But society as a whole, I have no interest in trying to repair. I think society's broken on everything.
That's an
And
impossible.
I exploit broken society. Broken society suits me to the ground. I use it to my advantage, absolutely. It's how I make money with webcam girls. It's how I have multiple girlfriends. So like I get away with a bunch of shit I shouldn't get away with. I just understand the society's fucked, so I'm just playing my own hand the best I can.
You are saying it, but this is, I think, the most honest that I've ever heard him be. This is just pure nihilism.
It is, yeah. You know, it's amazing for someone to have that kind of self-awareness, and yet just run towards the darkness. You know, to just fully embrace it, to not stop and reflect, and to think, oh, maybe I should actually try and be a better person and bring some light into the world.
But why would you do that when you can just be a rapist and a sex trafficker?
This is where it gives me hope. Thank God that this man is now in federal custody in America, and hopefully will finally face some justice for what he's done.
Is this a real video? What the hell is this with his hair? Who is this?
This is where this guy just interviewed Tucker Carlson.
Who is this guy?
Just 2 weeks ago. He's this young guy named Jack Neal.
Is he wearing a wig?
It's amazing where you get these new characters just pop up into the grifting alternative media landscape. This is where I say it's like a network. You know, the guy just interviewed Tucker Carlson 2 weeks ago, and now he's dropping this with Andrew Tate, lying, I believe, about everything.
This is an audio recording which is known to be, in fact, true and used as evidence of him. This is the one where he says, "I raped you," right?
Yeah, text messages as well.
Am I a bad person? Because
this is from a long time ago, isn't it?
It is. This is dating back. It would be around about the 2014 to 2016 mark. This is part of the evidence that the Crown prosecution decided not to move forward with that case.
Doesn't he sound very gay? I just want to wind that audio for a second.
am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why?
Whilst we were having sex, he...
You know, no offense, but I knew this gay guy when I lived in Turkey. And what always surprised me was that he had this, aside from just being gay and just having a preference for men, he was also genuinely disgusted by women. He was genuinely disgusted by a woman's reproductive organs and system, and was generally like, ugh. But he also sounded like this whenever he spoke. It's just, I don't want to draw any connections here, but it just reminds me of that, you know, that he has this genuine disdain for women, and that he also says, I don't want sex with them. I just use sex as a tool. And he has this genuine disgust for them and this carelessness about their, you know, but what they
I mean, even Tate even does that thing where he says that having sex with women is gay, you know, unless you're like reproducing. Just having sex with women is gay. Yeah.
Why?
Whilst we were having sex, he put his hand on my throat and strangled me until I lost consciousness. But he was still having sex with me when I kind of came back around again.
I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather you didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to? That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this planet.
And then the next day, one of the
I always find it so incredible that this guy who self-snitched for years actually says I'm the smartest person on this planet.
This is a guy who was caught making phone calls while he was detained in Romania. In Romanian prison, was caught on the phone attempting to allegedly bribe an influence statement from people. That's how smart this guy is.
That's a very, very good idea. That's what you should always do when you're when you're held in jail. Quickly try to commit a crime over the phone.
whites of my eyes had gone completely red. Apparently, that's kind of common in domestic abuse cases where there's a lack of oxygen in your brain. So your blood vessels start bursting to kind of try and get the oxygen there.
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't pass out.
But he kind of kept saying, I own you, you belong to me, threatening to kill me.
Chill the out. Jesus Christ, I thought you were cool.
I thought you were cool. I thought she was cool, man. Why doesn't she just take the violence? Why is she not just okay with it? I don't understand. Here is this is, I think, one that Christians should pay very close attention to. Those who have any questions about it. This is from the War Room, which is where Andrew Tate shares all his beautiful, wonderful works with all his paying subscribers who want to learn from him and want to be successful businessmen just like him. Here, Andrew Tate reports that he met this girl who is a Christian who takes her faith very, very seriously and doesn't want to do immoral things. Update on the two girls living together. If anyone doesn't know the story, I asked the guys here to find it for you. So I told my girl to send me a picture, and she said this. And then you have the image of it, which is here. Forced or anything, but because I wanted and I felt myself that it is the right thing to do. At the same time, I have a few things, very few, but rules I can't break because I'm old-fashioned and I do believe in God. I have never sent a picture of me in lingerie ever, and I made a promise to God and myself, and I will keep it. Where I will never do video chat or OnlyFans because my body is intimate, and only my husband should be able to touch and see it. If I give you my love, I'm expecting the same thing back. The man I love should not hit or beat me up, and this is it. If these four things are respected when it comes to me, then there's no way we can ever fight, and so on, and so on, and so forth. He shares this chat with his group in which he teaches people how to be just as successful as him. And he says the following: sounds like a hard target for Cam or OnlyFans, right? So let's take bets. He meets a girl. She says, I will never do these things. I believe in God and I'm traditional and I don't do that stuff. So he says, all right, seems like a hard target. Let's take bets. He makes a poll. Then he continues. And they discuss about how to go about doing things. That they need to isolate her, that they need to manipulate her, that they need to separate her from her family. I don't know if all the details are included here, but I think it goes to so much more detail that he starts spreading rumors about her, right?
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Then makes it look like other people spread rumors about her, so that she feels more and more isolated and pushed. Then this is the one, right? She breaks her phone, and he then, instead of repairing the phone, takes advantage of the situation so that she no longer has a phone and is fully dependent on him. So he uses manipulation tactics, uses multiple sources, uses other people, uses those under her to also play along and manipulate her as well, to break her to the point that she will say, okay, fine, I will work. I will do a few videos for you online just to make money, because you will have to take care of me. There is more to this. I remember the chat here being much more detailed and elaborate, such as that he says in the chat that he doesn't care about her belief in God, that this can easily be broken, and all that.
Yeah, you had it just before where he says, I almost sound evil. And he even uses that it's like Christian terminology where he's like, I'm the shepherd leading
Oh yeah.
leading the sheep. It's in one of those ones.
Oh yeah, here.
Here it is, yeah.
Another element, since she moved, she's been fed, but nothing else. But nothing else. She breaks her phone. She is broke, and she can't go home, and she can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil, but I'm not. I'm a shepherd leading the sheep. She doesn't realize that following me makes life better for her. This is what he does while having her over, breaking her, making her completely dependent on him. He says, I almost sound evil, but I'm not. I mean, you clearly sound evil, but of course you're not evil. You're the shepherd leading the sheep. He puts himself in the position of God and wants to replace the God that she, as a Christian woman, believes in, to then make money for him.
And she's one of two of the alleged victims from the original Romanian case that came out and said that he was innocent and that she was an alleged victim. But meanwhile, it came out that they actually, I believe, still had her under their control and flew her to Dubai. So she was still in with the Tate camp. And she was one of those ones that said earlier about Tate was caught making phone calls. So she was one of those ones where he was saying, let's get the people to make videos saying I'm innocent. So they trot her out, and she's saying, I'm not a victim. I love him. Meanwhile, she's got a tattoo that says Tate property on it.
Oh yeah.
So it's incredibly dark when you look at that. You contrast those first initial text messages where she's saying, like, my red line is I'll never do pornography. You know, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I've only been with a couple of men, to then cut to her, like breast implants, Tate property, tattoo, all of it, coming out to defend him. It's pretty horrible stuff.
There's one thing that I want to emphasize again and again in this, which is that yes, you could say technically when you look at this, but didn't she go into it? Didn't she say yes? Didn't she agree to go on camera? Didn't she agree to do this? Yeah, sure, she did. She did. For the most part, at least as far as we can follow, she did. She consented to certain things here. However, that's the entire point of how he does things. He did this to adults. He did this to minors. He did this to severely broken people to manipulate them and break them even more and even further, while pretending to be a completely good guy and just having their best interest at heart. These women that he used and these girls that he used often were specifically prone to being manipulated by somebody like him. He specifically sought out girls and women that were easy to break or that took a little bit to break. That is the entire point of what he calls the PhD, the Pimping Host Degree program. And what's also important is that all of this fits the definition of human trafficking. Oh, I see that you have just sent me that.
I'm just saying that. So if you open that website, and there you go. So if you look down, this is the legal definition of human trafficking. And so you can see there's three components to it. There's the act, the means, and the purpose. And then it takes one from each of these columns to be defined as human trafficking. A lot of people don't actually understand what human trafficking is. They think it's like Taken, where it's people in big cargo containers chained to radiators. But this is the definition. So it's the act. So the trafficker any of these. It doesn't have to be all of them, but it's one from each column. They recruits, or they transports, or they transfers, or they harbors, or they receives a person to do this through the means, which is through threats, coercion, fraud, deception, abuse of power, preying on vulnerability, abduction. And then the purpose is to then prostitution, sexual exploitation, forced labor, slavery, servitude, or removal of organs. And that's, even what we just read there with the War Room trats, that ticks multiple boxes in the way of that. It's recruiting. There's even potentially transportation.
Yeah, he
but-
did move her from one place to another to work with
That's
him
right.
in his place. So
Yeah. And then, threats, coercion, fraud, deception, abuse of power, preying on vulnerability, abduction. That's where it's, already in those chats, you can already see that there is deception. There even is potentially coercion. And then the purpose is for webcamming, for sexual exploitation through pornography. And, again, that's where Andrew Tate, even with this, when you look at these columns, Andrew Tate, there's countless videos that we've even shown today where he's explicitly admitting to, I believe, many of these components that constitutes human trafficking.
yeah, it pisses me off sometimes that people got this wrong idea of what human trafficking actually is in the real world, because people have been so much influenced by how the pop culture and how Hollywood likes to depict it, which is a girl or somebody disappears suddenly and is then abducted and is put into a cage and taken as a slave and then sold and bought and all that. That kind of stuff, according to the statistics, is extremely rare or very rare. I think it's like less than 5% of human trafficking victims are abducted. In many or most cases, the victims are manipulated or threatened or taken advantage of through different ways, recruited through coercion and fraud and stuff like that. In this case, Jeffrey Epstein didn't abduct people and lock people up. He used these different means seen here in order to run a human trafficking business for himself. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate also did various of these things depicted here. You could say they recruited, they transported, but based on the, if we take all victims into consideration, they recruited, transported, transferred, or harbored. They threatened, coerced, did fraud, deception, abuse of power, preying on vulnerability. I don't know if there's an abduction anywhere. If we do not count, wait, you could say that there is some kind of abduction here in some cases where they wanted to run away and seek help, but they weren't.
Yeah, this is one that they lie. That, it's like they've never been accused of kidnapping. They say that. It's like they've never been accused of kidnapping.
And they ran a business through these acts and these means for prostitution, sexual exploitation, forced labor. And they themselves actually described it as slavery. So you only have to match one of each category for it to be human trafficking. With the Andrew and Tristan Tate, their actions fit multiple of each category, and they have clearly engaged in human trafficking. Just because it doesn't look like in the movie Taken, it doesn't mean it's not human trafficking. It is human trafficking. And if somebody says, but that's not human trafficking to me, well, gladly the law doesn't look at what you think.
Yeah, you're right. The human trafficking, I think it's a bad terminology for what it actually is, because people get hung up on the trafficking part where they think it's about movement. It really is. Human trafficking really is human exploitation. I think the vast majority of human trafficking cases are to do with, you're looking at like maids and people in service labor and things like that. Where you'll have people who are taken from the Philippines or Africa, and then they're then put into a house in America or other places where then they're kind of forced into labor. That's a lot of the human trafficking cases. So yeah, people think it's this kind of sound of freedom type idea, but it's actually not.
Yeah. It is exploitation, and we have heard him say on camera that he loves exploiting women.
Pimping is human trafficking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I see that too. It's like, well, that's just a regular pimp. Yeah, okay. Pimp is human trafficking.
It is, yeah.
I'm right here in Miami. I'm right here in Miami. Come get me, arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me.
The funniest thing about this video is, and it also just shows the hypocrisy of Candace Owens here. Why is he wiping his phone every night? What evidence is he hiding? Why is he saying, do you think I go to sleep with a phone full of evidence every night? Well, I thought he's innocent.
What innocent person? What innocent person talks that way?
Yeah. I'm clearly not doing anything wrong at all. And if they come for me, if sometime at some point people start coming for me, it's obviously because it's a setup. By the way, do you know that I never sleep with a phone full of evidence, that I always wipe my phone right before I go to sleep? Are you retarded too?
You saw that's where you saw that with the Miami arrest. It was amazing, him trying to hand off his phone to his bodyguard.
Yeah.
And it dropping to the floor.
It fell down, yeah.
Evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me.
Yes.
Arrest me. Let's do this all over again. I've done it for 4 years in Romania. You think I'm scared of your state jail after an Eastern European gulag? I'm staying right here.
All right, and now he's under arrest to be extradited to the UK.
And that's where it's important to point out one of the narratives that they're pushing is that this is Ron DeSantis. So that this is the Florida's Attorney General was behind this, but that's incorrect. This was federal. It was the Department of Justice, so it was the U.S. Marshals that arrested them in Miami. This isn't DeSantis. This isn't the Florida's Attorney General. This is again showing that the Trump administration wants nothing to do with defending the Tate brothers.
Yeah, let's look at that update one more time because I just found it so beautiful. Just found it so beautiful. Just found it so beautiful. Wait a minute. Actually, let me download this to play it more with more volume because.
Yeah, I find it very interesting how quiet Candace Owens has been this week. She's not defended the Tate brothers.
Oh yeah,
and that is very, very, very curious to me. Something is going on.
Curious. Maybe she's been told by her husband, hey, maybe you shouldn't defend him right now because it looks like he's in real trouble.
Yeah, and this could be a bad look for for my father-in-law, your dad, who's serving as a House of Lords in the UK. Maybe we don't want to be getting into bed with this, considering he's looking at a very, very public, graphic criminal prosecution in the UK.
And Candace probably responded to her husband, George Farmer, by saying, "Shut up, you little gay boy." But anyway, I will consider what you have said. And then she decided not to comment on it. So let's hear the news one more time because it was so beautiful.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No.
It's beautiful. Clear as that. It is just so beautiful. I love it. I'm Aussie too, said Timothy Freeman. We can see you're donating with Australian dollars. I too make exceptions for my bottom beaches. Bunch of Australians here. Jim Burns Jr. says, tell everyone, especially Muslims and communists, to Amazon a book titled A Conversation with Superintelligence by Jim Dwayne Burns Jr. It is a short 57-page book that will deliver... Dude, when did my super chat section become...
very well read, I know.
Where you just advertise for books and all that. What is this? Okay, from now on, everyone only make a super chat if you want to advertise for a certain book. That's what we're doing, apparently. Karen Fisher, he says, I exploit broken society as if it is something outside of himself. Nicely put. He's the peak of what's wrong with society. Elupx says, regarding standing up to Tate, I would gladly go to prison for assault, attempted murder, for trying to stop anyone harming anyone like this, least of these, etc. Nice. Nice.
It is totally based.
Chicken Power says, you now identify as Greek or Turkish Pontic Greek. I'm everything. I'm whatever you want me to be. All right. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Before we close out here. One more time. My dear friend Nathan here. Oh, here. Is being sued by Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers for speaking out and drawing attention to all their human trafficking and rape and all the other stuff that they are involved in. Andrew Tate is using frivolous lawsuits to come and persecute Nathan, Livingston, Milkbar TV. And so I have the fundraiser for all the legal troubles in the description. You can click the link if you want to help fight directly, if you want to fight against the Tate brothers. Anything else you want to add to that, Nathan?
No, I appreciate it. I you know, their intention, and they've spoken about this before, you know, with them using lawsuits like this, their intention is to bankrupt me and make my life misery. And the only reason we've been able to push back and fight the Tate brothers, and we'll defeat the lawsuit because it is ridiculous. But the only reason we've been able to get there is because of the generosity of people who've, you know, rallied to push back, and I think we've conclusively proved with this stream that the Tate brothers are a negative force in the world. And so it gives me a lot of hope that so many people have rallied behind me and the other people getting sued to fight these, as Marco Rubio says, scum.
Wonderful. Wonderfully put. So everybody, if you want to fight directly against the Tates, in the description you will find the fundraiser to fight against, to defend our friends against Andrew Tate's scam. Anything else you want to add, Nathan, before we head out?
No. I appreciate everything you do, and it's been a pleasure.
I appreciate everything you do.
I'm glad the psychopath wasn't with us today.
Don't let him hear that, man. Don't let him hear that. He might be really mad. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you so much for being on top of this and for several years now covering everything that these scumbags and bastards and filthy people are doing. The Tates, thank you for exposing all the sex trafficking and rape and everything that they're engaged in. Keep it up, and eventually we will beat them. And I hope to talk to you again.
Appreciate
and always happy to be in touch with you and to work together on things. All right. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Spread everything that you have heard here. Spread the news. Be fantastic. Be beautiful. Be wonderful. And as always, I wonder if David can join me now. Didn't you say this live stream was over? I don't know. I'm tired anyway. God bless you all. And as always, stay away from...
Stay away from Islam.
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 Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam.
Stay away from Islam.